Boom! What's up, you guys? Byron Rodgers, tactical protection review. Learn protection strategies from a protection professional. Let's see what we can learn from this. All right, take it back from the beginning. Old girl's in her apartment, dancing around, doing, girly stuff, practicing her moves for Coachella, whatever she's into. She's dancing around. It's cool. And all of a sudden, she's interrupted. She notices someone's at the door. In this moment, what do you do? And that's a question that you're going to have to answer for yourself. What you should do is what you've planned to do. He who fails to have a plan plans to fail. That's really what this is all about. There are a few different things that, as we see, you hear Sun Tzu say, you hear Miyamoto Musashi say, you hear these great ancient warriors talk about battles are won before you actually go to war. So now she's sitting here, and this is definitely, we're going back to Tony Blauer's stuff, right? She's protecting her vitals, she's panicking, she's trying to protect herself, but she doesn't know what to do. In this moment, this female is standing in the middle. She's totally vulnerable, and she doesn't have a plan, okay? So if we rewind a little bit, when she walked into her house, she should have locked the door. It sounds like something that of course, lock the door, duh, right? But if you don't have habits situated to get these things done, your life is going to degrade to the quality of your habits. My suggestion is have systems. Have a checklist that you do the exact same way every single time you're in your house, you're going to your vehicle, you're in your vehicle, you're in any environment, you enter a new environment, you enter a restaurant, you enter a movie theater. Have a checklist in your mind that covers specific things, such as, hey, have I locked the doors? Lock the doors, turn the alarm system on, make sure the windows are closed. All these different things, you should have a checklist, because that's going to help you write higher quality software in your brain that's going to help you do it the same exact way every single time. And then, like a workout program or anything else, you won't feel normal until you've done your security protocols. And as you do them more often, at first, it might be like, oh, I got to remember these things. But then after a while, you're able to do them on autopilot, just like driving a new car. You get in your car and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many things, signal, mirror, over the shoulder, change lanes. Like, how do people even do this? And then after a year or two goes by, you're brushing your teeth and sending text messages while you're driving down the street, right? Because you've written that programming into your life and your brain has learned those things. So now it's just second nature. You don't feel right until you have certain things in place. This is how your home should be, and any environment you frequent should be. You should have security protocols and strategies in place. Now, the other thing she hasn't done is she hasn't thought through this equation. So now she's standing here and she's being faced with a new equation. You can just tell by the way her eyes are wide and she's looking at this new threat. She doesn't know what to do. So when you don't know what to do, you have this cognitive dissonance. You have this gap in your thinking, this gap in your response that essentially, what does she do? She freezes. She's sitting here, she's dancing and frozen. She's starting to back up a little bit, frozen. Talking, who are you? This is all time she can be victimized. All of this is time. He could just walk. He's already through the door. Fortunately, he hasn't chosen to be aggressive. Let's see here. So as we look at this, she stops. She's frozen. And from the moment she recognizes the threat, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You get it. This guy's been standing in front of her, inside with his head in the door, looking at her. She's still in front of him, commanding him to get out. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, gun-free zones don't work, okay? If this guy decided to come inside her house and do something, he could, because she doesn't have, and there he is right there, she does not have the tools to defend herself from this guy who is standing in her doorway with her door open right here, while she's sitting there talking. And that is absolutely unacceptable. This female survived this encounter by the grace of God, right? Firearms are the ultimate equalizer. Defending your place of home, that's something you need to be able to do. This is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about females learning the art of protection, because that is really because this guy probably is more physically potent than she is, more physically capable than she is, has more testosterone, more torque, more drive. than she does. That's the probability. In order to defend against that, you need an equalizer, so whether you're a smaller human or you're a weaker human or you have a disability, this is something you must consider. The other thing is, where are her weapons? Can she get to them? You should have medical supplies and weapons in your home. If you have a weapon, you should have medical supplies at all times in your home, in places where you can get to them that are legally secured, so you can defend yourself if something like this happens. It looks like she might be in a studio. So what's the consideration? In a place where the front door could just open and you might get engaged right off the bat, you need to make sure your stuff is where you can get to it right off the bat. These are the types of considerations when you're thinking about building a stronger and safer home. Motion sensor lights. Lights could have came on the other side of those blinds possibly and given her a heads up that there was some movement out front if she lives in a neighborhood where that's something she can do. Looks like she might be in an apartment. But beyond that, does she have an alarm system? Beyond that, her door is not locked. Beyond that, does she have weapons caches? Does she have medical supplies nearby if she does get wounded during this altercation? And unfortunately, it looks like the answer to these things is no. So she is vulnerable to a surprise ambush, a surprise attack of this nature. What does she do? She opens her other door and takes a look at the stairwell. Now, if you look at this stairwell here, what I think is most significant is it looks like it's a through stairwell. So this guy might be literally right around that corner, and now she's playing a game of cat and mouse, ring around the rosies for her life. That's something she needs to know about her environment, and that's something she needs to defend against. Both these doors should have been locked. She should have some hardware in her hands that she can defend herself with, and she needs to be ready. And then beyond that, you need to know how to implement that firearm. Remember, just having a weapon's not good enough. Knowing how to use that weapon is what will help you actually survive, right? Knowing how to use that weapon lawfully and effectively is what will help you win both the fights, the one to save your life and the one to save your life after the one to save your life, right? So just a few protection strategies, a few considerations from a protection professional. If you want to learn more about these things, go to protectorsymposium.com. This is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade, reminding you to be peaceful, but not harmless. Out. Boom!